Operator.
Well, we can try operator.
Thought we had an additional.
Yes. We got Monday, April 28th, 2025. I'll call this Board of Supervisor meeting to convene. Roll call, all members are present along with Board Secretary Sheila Shackleton. Is there a motion to approve today's agenda with the additional agenda item that came out late Friday night about the Bradford House wine license?
Second.
Motion by Travis, seconded by Isaac to approve the agenda with the additional agenda. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Approve the minutes from last week, April 21st, 2025. Is there a motion to approve? So.
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Steve to approve the minutes from April 21st, 2025. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Discuss abating property tax at 311 Main Street, Nashua, which is owned by the city of Nashua. About a week and a half ago, the board/auditor's office received a letter from the city attorney from Nashua. You guys all have a copy of that, I believe. We've done this in the past, right or wrong. The city, what I've seen, owns this property as of, I have a date on here, March 19th, 2024. Signed a quitclaim deed over to the city. Dave, did you have anything?
I pulled it up yesterday and looked at it. I think you're right. It's up to you guys whether you want to do it. You're legally allowed to do it. Looks like when I pulled it up, the taxes are $50. So not that we want to start setting precedents for low amounts, but I mean, if the city owns it, the city's going to rehabilitate it. It seems like we've done it before since I've been here. So something that's a worthwhile endeavor if that's what you choose to do.
So this, where that, it went up for sale, somebody bought it,
I think it's been brought on tax sale, and then the people who bought it haven't had a use for it, so now they're turning it over to the city, is what I understand.
So the amount due is only $50, not the $3,000.
Yeah, if you go on Tyler and Beacon, it's only $50.
I think I saw that.
Well, that's every year. I don't know what the overall amount is, it always has that in the letter, so yeah, perhaps that is the overall amount due. Someone bought the certificate, and I'm not sure if they paid it to switch everything over or not. So that maybe that's the back tax amount, that seems like a large amount considering it's only a small amount every year that's due. But maybe there was a special assessment in there or something else. Because according to the author, the treasurer's office records, according to Beacon,
Right.
it looks like they've all been paid up until last year. That's what I show.
2001.
So I don't know where that number comes from. Maybe Matt's office would know more, or someone's office has mine and know more of the details.
Before making the motion, I think in the last, we just abate the taxes on said property and.
Correct, he's direct treasurer to market zero basically.
Is there a motion to abate taxes on property at 311 Main Street, Nashua, owned by the city? Is there a second?
Do you want to do that directly?
Yeah, I'll make the motion. Is there a second? I will second. Any further discussion?
is it, so is it $3,000 or is it $50,000?
We have to look into it.
I don't know. It's conflicting from what he says in the letter to what it shows online. I don't know which one's correct. I mean, we can call downstairs and find out, I guess, what someone will do is the assessed value for this current year is only $3,200. So that's a hell of a lot of back taxes if they accumulate $3,200 in back taxes. When the assessed value is only $3,200.
The free, I guess, this is what they bought it for, the taxes that were over they bought it.
Right, and I don't know what the status of it is. I have looked into it with the treasurer's office.
I don't, my personal opinion is we shouldn't be, I mean, why would somebody buy it and then find out that, oh, there's another $3,000? I mean, why would we let that slide?
So you want the city to pay that then?
Well, I think the city should go, well, I don't know how you do that.
His letter says the tax sale buyer signed the deed over to the city as it was a mistake to buy it on tax sale. I have no idea what that means.
That's what I don't understand.
Well, the tax sale person sophisticated know what they're doing and know how they're gonna make money and where they're gonna get their
I don't
benefit.
want to speak for the individual who owns it, but I think what they did is they bought it on the tax sale without ever even looking to see what it was. Because they bought it years ago.
Okay.
They owned it for years.
Yeah, like there's just too many unknowns on this yet.
And according to this, it's 2009 when it came for the tax sale.
Here comes
Yeah,
my,
16 years.
There comes back.
That's all that's owed is tax sale and tax sale interest. So there's not any actual taxes due on it, so, whoever held the tax sale is probably gonna, they're either gonna need to waive like what they paid in. Cause that money's gonna have to be accounted for. Cause I know we've had other properties where it comes up and whoever owns the tax sale certificate is gonna want their money.
So who pays that?
Ruby Ridge or whatever.
Usually whoever takes ownership.
So someone paid the $3,000 for the certificate and then now he's transferred the certificate over to the city? Is that what they're trying to do?
That was, yeah, from what I read on that last week.
so the
But if they're
$3,000,
buying these, a lot of these are getting bought sight unseen, so then once they buy it and then see what's there and realize it's worthless.
So who technically should pay the tax?
Usually whoever they sign the ownership over to would pay them. I don't know if there's like a set rule or law or anything on it.
So they paid the money for the certificate 16 years ago and they've been paying the taxes that have been coming due ever since then.
So do you know what
There might
it's
be
due
something
right
you need to
now?
look into a little further.
Yeah.
All right, any more discussion?
I think we ought to probably look into that a little bit more.
Roll call, Scott.
Aye.
Travis,
No,
Steve,
Nay.
Isaac.
Nay.
Packman, no. Look into it more, I guess.
You want me to call Dave?
Yeah, see who is actually, what's due and who's trying to.
Okay.
What's the word I'm looking for? If there's something due, who's responsible to pay it? If it's the city, then I guess we'll bring it back and see if we want to abate it for the city or whoever. What's due?
Yeah, this was our service. All this more Dave.
Any public comment to the issue?
Nothing written. I was just gonna share with everybody that with the heritage, that Judy had emailed me that she'll be sending us a check next week for $16,249.40 for,
And that will, what I've seen in the Word doc, that will pay all bills, all change orders, and all we had to pay was the $1,000 deductible. So that project, not our project, water damage project should be finalized once we receive that check into general basic. Denise is also coming from IGHCP this Thursday to do open enrollment for all full-time county employees. There is 3 time slots set aside. 2 at the secondary road garage, 1 at the secondary road garage shop and 2 at the community service building. So just a reminder for county full-time staff. I think there's an email going out today maybe.
Yep.
Third thing is public comment for the board, and there was a questionnaire we sent out from, her name's Erica from ISAC, to do a 99 county tour this year or next year. I did fill out that and see what I guess their response is when we get that back. They pretty much want 2 hours for kind of like a town hall meeting with county staff and elected officials. We'll see what happens with that. 9/11, meet with Sheriff Ryan Schauber. Good morning.
Good morning.
Looks like acknowledge the invoice from Keesler Police Supply for $21,276.39, which $8,494 will be paid from the forfeiture fund, and the remaining balance from the rifles, body armor, and police supplies.
So this is kind of a bigger invoice. Just wanted to have you guys be able to ask any questions about it. So what we did is we updated our rifle weapons platform. It's about 12 years old. That money came in from that forfeiture from a case that our guys worked, did a great job with, and we get some funds. We wanted to upgrade that platform for a while, and this was the right time to do that. So that's what this is. So this invoice is just, it's kind of one of the bigger ones, and maybe had some questions when it come across. So that's what that one is. And Sheila, that's the right fund for the forfeiture down. You see there? I got that from Gina just to verify that's the right code you need.
Well, I don't have a code on here.
No, well, maybe you have the wrong one then. It's been submitted over to your office with the code in the back.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
it went through the bills,
Probably,
Okay.
yeah, because this should be in the packets, I hope.
yeah.
So there'll be a little bit left over, like $56 for next fiscal year.
Is there still some in there? Well, we can apply everything to this. I really
Can't because we didn't have the appropriation.
for,
So to spend the interest.
oh, interest, gotcha.
So I mean, either total, the same thing's happening with them, I think I put a little bit extra.
Okay.
So July 1st, you're gonna have like up to $60
Okay.
to spend on something.
Okay.
Code it, I would say quickly, so then that account goes to zero.
What, makes it up? Okay.
Otherwise, it's gonna collect interest.
Yep, we'll do that.
And try to get it to 0, but you also understand there's still money coming in to those
Okay.
things too. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's not ideal. It's not a one-time deal.
It's
That's only be a one-time. I mean, anytime we raise somebody and there's assets that are forfeitable, I don't know if that's the word, that are seizable by their office and able to be forfeited, probably is a better way of saying it. By my office, we're certainly gonna explore doing that, because it's a narrow area that you can do it. But if there are proceeds from illegal conduct, we're gonna do our best to try and get that money.
Yeah, my point is, we just gotta have the authority to spend.
Right.
Right,
Gotcha.
So,
but our auditor had told us a while back that we have a lot of funds in that, so I think Jake zeroed it on the.
Yeah.
I know,
I should have mine out, I got more money left. So, I tried to zero mine out.
so this is an invoice to acknowledge per the purchase policy. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Isaac, to acknowledge the invoice for police supplies. Some coming out of the forfeiture fund and some coming out of his line item rifles, body armor. Any discussion
Would this be for purchase policy?
for purchase policy? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye, anybody opposed, motion carried. Acknowledge resignation from dispatch, excuse me, jailer Jamie Eckwall, effective May 9th, 2025.
Yeah, so you guys all have a copy of the letter I received last week. Jamie had an opportunity to go work for another neighboring county agency and dispatch closer to home for him, make a little bit more money. It's just the dispatching, no jail involved in that, which we do find from time to time in a lot of our staff. Not so much like the jail side of it, but of course that's how we operate over here and have to do it. But no, it's smart decision on his part. It was the first decision. So he did say he would, if the board would approve it, so like to stay on a part-time on-call as needed, since we don't have any scheduled part-time shifts. It's just one of those people we can have in our back pocket to call when we have open shifts. They'll keep a certification through Floyd County. So yeah, that's.
So I get the first agenda item, the second one though, Dave, can you keep somebody on part-time without advertising part-time, or the hand question? Before we accept his resignation, can we keep him on as part-time?
We're gonna change the status.
Yeah.
With Kaylee.
Status from full-time to part-time, well, it doesn't take a resignation to do that. It's kind of like the matrons and those types of things that are just hanging out there on an as-needed basis. I don't know what they're classified as.
I don't want to do
Your guys'
something
office.
that I might regret. Any board have any insight on that? I think if we accept it, then he would have to come back and hire back on as.
It's more just a change of status from full-time to part-time on call. I hate the word part-time because you don't have set hours for them, it's more on call as needed.
Yeah, I would say that's probably more appropriate. You're gonna change status from full-time to on-call status.
And that's still allowable about the agenda item.
He's on, but for changing status, resigning his full-time position and taking a on-call position, I guess is how I would classify it.
Part-time on call.
And I don't know how that works in the auditor's office or HR wise as far as what he's entitled to and what he might not be entitled to here. That's, I don't know any of those answers.
Do you want it?
No, I'm just, someone.
I was gonna say,
make
there's
sure
no bad-
we're squared away with that. I mean, it's the same as the matrons, anyone else that you have on an on-call basis.
So that's it, matrons and our
Right.
dispatch
It's
staff.
good, Ivers,
Yeah, that person.
unless they average over 30.
Right, so as long as you guys are on the same page, I'm okay with it.
Not accept resignation and do a change of status.
You guys okay with that? And I would probably call it as part-time on call.
Yeah.
Or we can wait until next week too, it's totally up to you guys.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Change the status.
Okay.
I think that'll make things easier and cleaner, for sure.
There's a form that I've got at the auditor's office that just changes the status.
Is that a motion, Isaac?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Isaac, second by Steve, to acknowledge the change of status for dispatcher jailer Jamie Eckwall, effective May 9th, from full-time to part-time on call. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye, anybody opposed, motion carried. Third thing is discuss staffing needs then.
So the employee, we had to serve a notice to and sign that notice of the permanent layoff, is interested in staying on due to this, if the board would so grant that. I don't know how that would work if, from a HR standpoint, we didn't sign, but she's willing to stay on, still lost her full-time position. She'd be a very good choice to keep on.
So I did visit with Ann on Friday about this, knowing a little bit of the details. That was the number one question, if she was willing to stay on. And it sounds like that's a yes.
It is a yes, I got confirmation. I brought it up to her Friday when I got this, and yeah, this is, I gotta go to the board with this. I can't guarantee anything, but she did get back to me and said that she would like to stay here if she can.
So if the board approves that, visit with Ann, because there's some documents that she will have to type up to void what she's already signed.
Yes, okay.
Nothing else changes with said employee, Cassie, right?
No,
Just stays on as normal after June 1st.
correct.
Any more discussion? A comment that Ann shared with is, it's in your budget that we certified 2 weeks ago to have that many certain dispatchers, jailers. Otherwise, you'd probably ask us for, and it won't look good, to go back out to hire back. Right? So, my opinion is try to keep her. She's trained here, she's knows the system.
She knows the system. She's not certified yet. She just met her probationary period, so she was slated for us to go to the 40-hour telecommunicator school. But, so we'll just resend her up for that if that's the direction the board wants to go.
Is that your recommendation?
It is my recommendation, yes, it is.
Any board member have any questions? Like I said, I visited with Ann, they just have to do some more documentation to void what the process she has done already.
Can't just rip that paperwork up.
Literally just minute prior to this
I
last
just
week.
got it, yeah, right here.
So, yeah. I can reach out to Ann if the board chooses to do, and I can take care of that.
Better now than 60 days from now.
Yeah, so that's.
As long as she's still here.
Mhm.
I think since we initially decreased the staffing on that department, I think we need a motion to rescind that then. Well, you're still losing somebody.
Right, that's why I brought this up, correct, it's kind of a wash, but yeah, the other one.
Yeah, so do we really?
I think we still need to do something to show our minutes that Cassie is staying. I know it was your call, but I think we need to.
I would just say you do a motion to rehire or rescind the termination of the employee that was chosen to be let go, and then direct the auditor and HR to prepare paperwork to finalize that at the next meeting, or to confirm that, or to, put it in place at the next meeting.
A motion to that.
So make a motion to rescind Casey Filcher's layoff.
And direct the auditor to work with HR to get the proper paperwork before the board next week for that.
You know, he's doing
Motion by Scott, second by Steve to,
To rescind the termination of Cassie Felcher and to direct the auditor to do paperwork before next. Is that it?
Yeah, to prepare the paperwork for approval next month.
and other discussion on this motion.
Or was that Steve then?
Steve second.
Okay, Scott, Steve.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Just thinking, just so everybody's clear, here and watching that that's done because of this full-time person changing status to part-time on call. So I want to make sure that everybody out there watching understands that that's, yeah.
It does not change your budget.
Does not change my budget, I don't have any more, I'm not adding staff, yes. Okay, thanks, everybody.
Sometimes things work out.
They do, yep, we're set, everybody.
Discuss and approve suspension of property tax for an individual. Time to time, we see this request. We did get the letter on Friday, I believe, from Department of Health and Human Services. We cannot share the individual's name and or social security number. But this individual does qualify for suspension of property tax per a code section
Oh, that's right.
427.9.
427.9. Thank you, Dave. And like I said, we've done this in the past, but we're waiting on a letter from DHHS and we received it, so.
Actually, I learned this yesterday also, but you have no choice but to do this.
It's-
It says that when you are notified, they don't have to file a petition like they normally would for request suspension. You shall order the county treasurer to suspend the collection of all taxes for such time as the person remains the owner of the parcels, and during the period the person receives assistance as described in the section. So the other thing is, just make sure we're doing this, because I was digging in the code yesterday morning. Board of Supervisors, not known for doing this, shall annually send to the Department of Health and Human Services the names and social security numbers of persons receiving a tax suspension pursuant to this section, so they can check up on them and see if they're still eligible. So if we're not doing that, between Matt's office and your office, we ought to make sure that we're sending a list down of all the suspended persons, just to make sure that they're still eligible, and if they're not, then get them unsuspended and put them back on the payroll. So we're supposed to do that annually.
So in front of us today is one said individual property owner for a suspension. Per that statute.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Isaac. Motion by Travis, second by Isaac to suspend property tax for said individual per Iowa Code 427.9. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. We'll skip on the safety right now. Discuss open board and commission and direct the auditor for publication. July 1st, we have 2 openings on the Veterans Affairs Commission. Per the policy is that we're supposed to have this on the agenda 3 months prior to the opening, so we kind of made that 2.5 maybe. It's the only openings for July. The other ones are all the calendar year. So is there anything to direct the county auditor to publish? Last year, Scott has a motion from last year. It's right here. Discuss expiring terms for County Commission of Veterans Affairs and a consensus of the Board of Supervisors direct the auditor to put notice on the county website.
Just make a note that these people have to be veterans to be on the commission.
They do have to be veterans on the commission for VA, yes. You guys okay with the consensus or motion to direct the county auditor that there's 2 open seats, will be 2 open seats July 1st, 2025 on the VA commission?
Make a motion to direct the auditor to publish for the 2 open seats on the VA board commission.
Publish in the newspapers.
Newspaper, website.
Second? Travis. Motion by Scott, second by Travis to go out for public notice of 2 openings on the VA commission effective July 1st, 2025.
Is there, there's no term limit on those, is there? I mean, people can reapply. There's not you can only serve so many terms and you gotta sit out for a term or something.
I don't believe so.
And it's for a 3-year term.
I know they, in the past, probably like 5-6 years ago, they want to get the different branches of service.
Right.
So that's up to them.
Whose seats are they?
Katie Beamer and Dean Spiker.
Okay. Any else on, I just, we don't have,
Nope, no districts,
okay. Is there anybody in the county?
anybody in the county
But you have to be a veteran.
have to be a veteran. Yep. Motion by Scott, second by Travis, any discussion on the open board and commissions effective July 1st? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Acknowledge a landfill inspection report for 2025 given by HLW Engineering Group. You guys all got this, just to acknowledge it. Annual inspection. I know Director Humble did talk about some trees that need to be trimmed and some trenches that were made when they put the test ports in will have to be filled up with some black dirt. Otherwise, it was a good report for the landfill. Is there a motion to acknowledge their inspection report?
We'll move to acknowledge landfill report.
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Steve, to acknowledge the landfill inspection report for 2025 given by HLW Engineering Group. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. 9:30, meet with EMS Director Joel Knutson. Good morning, Joel.
Morning.
Discuss and approve employment contract. It's a yearly contract with our EMS Director. We did his employment review about a month and a half ago. Do you have anything, Joel, to bring to us, or?
No, I don't. You and I kind of chatted last week or whatever it was. If there was anything I was looking at in the contract that I wanted to change, and I don't believe there probably is. I think just as running the numbers after the last pay period, it looks like I'm averaging about 74 hours per pay period. Above, 14 above what the minimum was set at. I think status quo is fine with me. I had expressed, I think, during my review that I wouldn't be seeking a wage increase just with the budgetary constraints that the county's going through. I myself feel that I think I would feel better about staying at the same wage.
Any other discussion by board members? We can approve it, but I know the dates will have to be changed. If I can help you with that, or if any other changes are needed. Everything else stays the same. The employee review will happen before March 31st. And then the contract will go into effect July 1st through June 30th of 26. Because the only changes I know that are needed is the dates.
With the budget meetings all happening around that March timeframe, do we want to look at moving just to lighten some of the workload on you guys, having to push that in somewhere?
Yeah, so that's a good point, because when we got done with yours, I went over and looked at the engineers, and that one just says annual. It does not have a specific date. Good point. Do we want to change that date to annually, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna change it, and I mean, it makes sense, just they're in line with each other.
Sometime before the renegotiation of the next contract.
You guys okay?
That'd be fine with me too.
So delete that. I don't have a contract in front of me. Sheila does, I bet. So change the dates of the contract and then the annual review, number 11. So pretty much change number 11, the director shall be given a performance evaluation by the Board of Supervisors no later than March 31st. So evaluation by the Board of Supervisors annually, period.
No, I didn't contract you.
I
And
have the electronic version.
I wonder who did.
I think
It's Ann's.
Oh, it's Ann's,
Yeah.
okay.
Honestly, I changed it for you. It's Ann's.
Because I didn't remember that one either.
anybody else want to see it or make any changes? Otherwise, I think the dates will have to be changed. $80,000. No, this isn't here too.
What?
Number 5. $80,000 for the period of July 1st, 24 through June 30th, 25. The director's annual salary for the fiscal year beginning thereafter shall be set no later than March 31st, 2025.
Number one also too.
What's that?
Number one also.
Yeah, that's the contract date.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's the date. So item number 1, and number 5 dates, and then annually on number 11. Anything else, Joel?
No.
Is there a motion to direct those changes to Ann and then vote on a final contract, or?
So move.
I'll confirm that. Do you wanna just approve the contract, or do you wanna see the final draft?
As long as I have no problem approving it
With those changes?
with those changes.
Is there a second?
Sorry.
Motion by Travis, second by Scott, to approve contract with changes of 1,
1, 5, and 11.
1, 5, and 11. Date cleanups and annually review.
Yeah.
Is that right, Travis?
Yep.
Any other discussion? Roll call, Travis?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Isaac? Aye. Steve?
Abstain.
Jake, aye. Motion passed 4-0 with 1 exception. Next thing is discuss and approve hiring medical examiner investigator. Joel.
So you all got my email that I had sent on Friday. We're gonna be short an MEI for a period of time. Conrad Rosendahl, who is the chief of police for the city of New Hampton, came prior to being in New Hampton here, was the chief of police in Lansing, who was also a medical examiner investigator for Allen Key County. He's licensed with the state. We just need to bring him on to help us provide some gap. And then I will, like I said, credentials and everything. I just need to let the state know.
Yeah, Joel did ask for this, and I put it on the agenda for discussion. Since we did not advertise for one, I think this would be like an interim to fill that gap. If that's okay by the board. One of the 4 is gonna be gone for a couple months.
He is a county employee in community for our service, so he would fall under the same employment as Jeff and I. So, I don't know how that looks, if it's in new hire, just added job duties to a current employee.
You guys okay with that, or you guys wanna? We don't know when Kevin Gert's gonna be gone, but
So when Kevin returns,
it's up to you guys. I know we didn't advertise, and that's where it's a little sticky.
Wasn't there another individual we didn't approve a while back? Medical examiner, you wanted another one, you didn't approve.
That one didn't qualify though, right? Didn't have a license certificate.
Was not licensed currently. And at that point in time, we thought everybody had to go to St. Louis for that super expensive training. Found out we can do it locally if we cross that bridge. This is more of a just to get us by for a bit, and then reevaluate, once, Kevin is back, whether we need to leave him on. I don't know the stipulations. I mean, he's licensed through the state. He does, he attends the same continuing ed that we all do, to keep his license up. I guess seeing as he's an employee of the county, if he's on our roster, would we have to take him off at that point? I don't know. The biggest thing is just to bring him on for the near term so that we make sure we don't have any gaps in coverage, I guess. We have had to, in the past 6 months, we did have to call somebody from Bremer County to come up and do an investigation because we were all busy and Dr. Brinkman was also gone. Fortunately for us, that person was a resident of Winnebago County, and so we were able to pass Bremer County's bill on to Winnebago County. But if we go into this with short staffing and none of us are available, or if I was on the call and I can't investigate one of my own calls, we could be seeing a potential bill from outside investigators, Howard Bremer, from wherever. So.
Any other discussion?
Well, I guess I think it would probably be cleaner to just do it as an interim basis and then we can revisit it.
If at that time you think we need to advertise it again,
You know,
that would
but
be fine.
That's fine. Put an end period on it then, if that's what you're intending to do. Maybe an interim basis until X date, on an as needed.
We won't know that though. I can't go into details, but it's a medical issue.
Pick a date,
Pick a
further figure out in the future, just so that it's clear that it's interim basis.
One
and it won't
calendar
roll
year
forever.
from the day of hire, would that be acceptable?
Yeah.
Where would
I mean,
it-
you can always extend it if necessary, you can
Correct.
go back and look at bringing them out permanently if you want to. I just think if you go out, a
6
couple months or whatever, yeah, however long you wanna go.
I wouldn't, I would not go any less than 6, because that's kind of what we've been told, the highest potential could be.
Start there and then you can reevaluate it in 6 months, I suppose.
I would agree with that. Is there a motion to put on staff for MEI, Conrad Rosendahl? Is there a motion?
I'd make a motion to hire Conrad Rosendahl as a medical examiner investigator on an interim basis for the next 6 months.
Second.
Get that motion?
Kinda. What day would be the date
Effective today.
effective today? So that's approved hiring of medical examiner investigator Conrad Rosendahl for intern for about 6 months and then be reevaluated, and the effective date will be Tuesday,
Just might be cleaner if you do May 1, so it's only 3 days away, so that'll take you to
May 1st.
the end of October, so May 1 to October 31st. That might be cleaner than it's a set time period. Sorry.
You okay, Scott? Does everybody understand the motion on the floor? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, anybody opposed? Motion carried. Got any department update, Joel? You just threw that on there, just.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you doing that. Impending severe weather this, potentially this afternoon and evening. Brandon, Berto, and Garrett went through all of the generators yesterday, made sure all of the emergency stuff was as ready as it can be, so. We do have the ability to staff all 3 trucks today. We've got crew lined up should we need them. Been in contact with the other agencies around us that if something would happen to happen, we should be as prepared as we can be. But we're in good shape.
Perfect. Thank you. Steve, would you see if Renee Carey is available for the committee? If we have any questions? Discuss assessment report for Chickasaw County from Troy Schulten. From Risk and Safety Consultant PC, he works for Department.
He works for Homes Murphy.
Perfect. He did our assessment a couple weeks ago and he toured some of the county buildings, and I know Renee and Scott and myself were at some of the locations with some concerns and questions, but he did have the assessment done. Renee, did you have anything to add? or-
No, I was just going through this, on the courthouse recommendations. Apparently there's a CDOT outlet there. I didn't know that.
You talking about the one by the sink
No, this one's in the courthouse.
Yeah, but
It's down to the same.
Yeah, but it's fine.
Go by the sink.
It's been by the sink since he's been coming here, so apparently he just noticed it. So we just have to put a GFI in there.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
I know when he was here too, and he didn't put it in his report, there was an issue with
I'll
Damien.
get to it.
You will, thank you.
You mean at the Heritage?
No, this one's up in Damien's office. There's too many power strips plugged into each other.
I don't think they got that too.
They did take it, yeah, they got that one taken care of.
That's resolved,
Yes.
Yeah. because it's resolved in the clerk of court's office too.
Correct.
He does have a long picture, EMS is the picture of, he has it in with the law building, this one here. There's paint in there, I know out at the county shop, I told them to get rid of all paint that's left over, just dry it out and get rid of it, then we don't have to worry about it. And Joel was concerned, well, what if we need to touch up? Now, you can keep the lid with the color scheme on it and go get it. And plus, you know, if you look at that picture, it's just very untidy. It's just, everything's just kind of thrown in there. And unfortunately, I don't think you can make people tidy. And then you'll see the EM, or the rescue squad, obviously, there's all kinds of crap laying there. And then out of the Heritage, we finally got resolved the breaker. This has been fixed, the breaker in the Heritage, there had to be some blanks, right, Jake?
Yes.
Put in there, that's been taken care of. I believe that the panel in the cold storage building, that has been, the old one was taken down.
Yes,
Jake and Scott were there and worked with Chuck Stanton to kind of redo the process, so it'll work good, we don't have to pay for a,
Weatherproof box.
weatherproof box.
So they put a junction box above that and they ran the breakers back to the original panel, the new panel that's in that little shop area. So that has all been cleaned up. You can see that panel on page 15 of the packet. Pretty rusty.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, so that is.
And it's too close to the door and there's wrong wires in it and all kinds of stuff. And that has been completed.
Yes.
I talked to Chuck Friday night because I thought everything out there had been completed, but it hadn't been, so I talked to him. They were going out this morning, I don't know for sure if it will get done, to fix the outside, the light. And then I also told him to check the light down by the shed with the white truck, to make sure that's all up to snuff. He does have the, he's still getting the 220 or whatever it is by the sink in the Heritage, getting that taken care of. I don't think there's any action that can be taken today, but we went out to secondary roads. We come around the corner in the old shop. There's a guy sitting there about 6 inches from the grinder with no safety glasses on. I want permission to write somebody up for something so ridiculously.
Stupid. I'll say it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we have all the supplies. I mean, it's not like we don't have safety glasses. I mean, there's a huge thing of them.
I think you as a safety.
You can't take any action.
You can tell that department head or elected official to write that individual up.
Okay,
But
Yeah,
we
I mean,
can't.
that's
I don't
just,
think you can.
to me, it's just absolutely unacceptable at this point in the game. And this is not a new employee.
I think you can highly recommend
Okay, thank you.
to your department head or a department head of a safety violation. But it goes back to that.
And there's some things I understand that people maybe aren't quite up to date on because we have changed a lot of stuff, but that's the safety glasses and you're sitting this far from the grinder and stuff like that.
Was there safety shield on the grinder?
Of course there was.
Okay. But they still need PPE.
And yeah, I still need to have the glasses on. And it's not like we don't have them. We spend hundreds of dollars in glasses and gloves and earplugs and all kinds of stuff. And then this is
Yeah.
and this is an ongoing problem. We have these things out of the shop that have electrical and water all in the same one, but there is a plan to get it fixed, and we will get it fixed, before August sixth when he comes back.
So there's not just one of those though,
No,
like
there's
6 or 7 of them.
maybe, yeah, but there's a plan, they just have to get it done, and so, no. And then this electric panel, I was shocked when we went to look at it that it was not fixed. I was under the impression it's fixed, it is fixed now. It was fixed the next day. So,
We got some open dust there.
and I'm talking with Sam about this other one, to store the oxygen and acetylene compressed gas that isn't in use. So really, the big thing that we got nicked for was that employee. So he was pretty happy with everything else. Joel, just wants to make sure that he doesn't have to buy a flammable cabinet for that paint or whatever. And I recommended just getting rid of the paint, but, I'll follow up on that.
Because every other building custodian.
The sheriff's office, yeah,
They bought those yellow cabinets.
yeah, and actually Doug needs another one, but he didn't
That was another one.
bring it up, so wasn't gonna.
That paint that Joel has, is that latex paint? That's-
No, it's, yeah, he says latex
So that's water-based.
base, not oil, so it's not flammable. But like I say, it's just, everything's just thrown on the top.
In his email, he did note that he has to come back to talk to Joel and Jeff.
Yeah, but the May date doesn't work for either one of them. Joel said it does work for him on August sixth. I think he's coming back again. So hopefully Jeff can be available. Just again, I've said it before, the Dave and Deb, the custodial department, the conservation, the sheriff's department, even secondary roads, have really been amazing to work with. And when we've told them to get stuff done, it gets done. I don't have to follow up with them, run around behind them to make sure it gets done. It just gets done, so. Yeah,
All right, all we can shoot for is a better report every time.
yeah, I hope so.
Any
And May
questions?
7th, he's coming back and I have training set up out at secondary roads. We're gonna do tie down training, fire extinguishers, I apologize, I'm gonna bring it in with me. Fire extinguishers, we got tags made for out the shop for like, the different fluids that get put from a bigger container into like a smaller holding container, you know, to have like a little bit left. But we got tags made now to put on there, so it's labeled properly what that is. The custodians and, conservation will be part of that training. Prior to me doing this, the custodians and conservation didn't really have, much training. So it's kind of new to them to be participating in some of this, but they really do need to be.
What day is that?
May 7th.
May 7th.
And then we'll let those guys go, and then the bridge crew will have, harness training.
You got harness and forklift.
Yeah, forklift. Sam Milligan and Jimmy Ledwick are gonna be trained, and then they will train, they'll like train the trainer, and then they will do everybody else. So we'll be up to date on that. Oh, the fire extinguishers at the EMS weren't up to date either. He didn't put that in here because he didn't see it, but I did. So, any questions?
I don't have any. Keep the insurance company happy.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about sometime is doing that wellness thing again. Like people getting their physicals done, because really in the big scheme of things, that could help our insurance
Gotcha.
claims, and I can add that into this to keep track of
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm bringing up at our next, what is it, June 9th? June 9th was our next safety, yeah. I think Judy's coming to that one.
Okay.
Any questions for Renee? Anything that she can take back to Troy? Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, moving down, acknowledge end of employment for county employees for June 1st, 2025. So now we have, this is just for the auditor to make the adjustments. Looks like since we moved on Cassie this morning, looks like there's 4 of them.
Correct.
So these names were given to us by the department heads. Brenda Schnoblin out of the treasurer's office, effective June 1st, along with Holly Bailey, Misty Deary, and Julie Shackleton, the 3 from the Public Health Agency. And this is just strictly to acknowledge the end of employment.
So we can put it with their records.
Correct, just acknowledge the employment of the director auditor, reflect their payroll and everything else and pay out as directed, et cetera. So you have authority to finalize everything.
There will be 2 additional motions, just not to be transparent is what I'm trying here. There'll be another motion to approve a 1-month additional insurance per permanent layoff notice and the settlement agreement, only for 2 individuals, Holly and Misty. And then there'll be a 3rd motion just to acknowledge the Chickasaw County Board of Health offered $500 for each year of service as a package to 2 individuals. All these have been signed on the 2nd and 3rd motion, so we're just directing the auditor to move forward with those said agreements. But the first motion is to acknowledge the end of employment for the 4 individuals. Is there a second?
So,
Motion by Travis, second by Scott, to acknowledge the end of employment for the following individuals effective June 1st, 2025, due to fiscal year 25-26 budget constraints. Brenda Schnoblin, Treasurer's Office, Holly Bailey, Public Health, Misty Deary, Public Health, and Julie Shackleton, Public Health. In discussion. If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. The second one is with our permanent layoff notice of 1-month additional insurance to Holly and Misty.
This would be the severance agreement, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you're moving to enter an agreement with them as part of their severance with the county.
They had them returned by the 18th of April.
Yeah, they're the ones that signed up on it.
I'll move to approve 1 month of additional insurance for permanent layoff notice and severance agreement for Holly Bailey and Misty Deary of Public Health.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Isaac. To approve their 1-month additional insurance per the permanent layoff notice for Holly and Misty. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. And then the third one is just something that the Board of Health did on top of our agreement. And these were all approved by the Board of Health, and we all have copies of them, or Sheila has copies of them.
Yep, I got the copies.
So-
Well, I gave it to everybody.
You have 2 people that signed off and accepted the $500 for each year of service was Holly at $2,500 and Misty Deary at $1,500. Just to acknowledge that for payroll reasons. Is there a motion to acknowledge?
I'll make a motion to acknowledge that.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Steve, to acknowledge the Chickasaw County Board of Health offered a layoff incentive of $500 for each year of service $2,500 to Holly and $1,500 to Misty. Any discussion?
I'm just gonna state that I don't think this is right. Because, look, the other ones aren't getting the same thing.
Yeah, it's their choice.
It's their board of health. We're just acknowledge what they did for payroll reasons, so the auditor knows to make those changes. All in favor, say aye. Aye, anybody opposed? Motion carried. Acknowledge the change of status from full-time to part-time for environmental health specialist effective July 1st, 2025. It was told the auditor's office, the change of hours worked by the environmental health specialist, Derek Beckenberg, is going from full-time to part-time. He will not be eligible for any benefits such as paid vacation, paid holidays, or paid sick leave per the county handbook, but is eligible for the health insurance.
Because he's gone from 35 to 30, so.
And we have that policy
Yep.
that he'll have the federal law that keeps his health insurance active if he works an average of 30 hours a week or more.
I would put that in the motion for 3 hours.
Is there a motion to acknowledge a change of hours worked?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Isaac, to acknowledge a change of status from full-time to part-time for environmental health specialist effective July 1st, 2025. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye, anybody opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, everyone.
Review and approve and authorize chair signature on the contract for library service, Chickasaw County for fiscal year 25-26. In the budget, we did go down to, I think, 2 years ago, fiscal year, do you have the total amount, 120?
124 something.
Yes.
124. 337.50.
We approved that in, the request in the budget. This is their contract. If there is a motion to approve or change it, or,
I'll move to approve the contract and authorize chair signature.
is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Isaac, to approve the fiscal year 25-26 library service for Chickasaw County Libraries. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried.
Don't forget the license.
Additional agenda item, review and approve Class B retail native wine license for Old Bradford Pioneer Village Museum, a 12-month term that expires April 30th here.
Yeah, we got it Friday afternoon.
Anybody want to see a copy? I think I got one sent to you.
No, I think so.
Oh, you didn't send it? Here's a copy.
Did I put it in yours, one? Yeah,
Oh, was it in
put
a red
your
box?
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve?
So.
Motion by Scott, second by Travis, to approve the liquor license for Bradford Pioneer Village for 12 months starting May 1st. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye, any opposed? Motion carried. Committee assignments, anybody have a committee assignment?
I had FMC DCAT governance board meeting on April 23rd. And approved fiscal 2025 final financials. We went through fiscal year 26 contract planning. Did the coordinator review. Lengthy discussion about realignment. Few members of the board are HHS employees. and made the comment, they don't really know what's gonna happen, but not sure if there will be fiscal year 27 DCAD. So. Yeah, we approved to transfer funds because FMC is ending their aftercare program, and juvenile court services requires those funds to go to other DCADs. And we're probably gonna be short of funds to finish this coming year out to pay the coordinator.
I think we're with you with some of those DHHS committees. Thanks, Steve. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, I have FMC early childhood. We discussed the financial reports, revenues and expenditures, and then several preschools, let's say about 7 or 8, discussed the students on scholarship. They went over their curriculum and programs that they offer, and funding that ECI provides. They're all worried about the state funding and what they're gonna provide to them for this year, so they're really up in the air on what kind of scholarships that are gonna offer to some of these students. Still yet to be determined.
And that was April 21st.
Correct.
Anybody else? I had CSS, County Social Services, on Wednesday, the 23rd. Trying to wrap down business, I guess. I did make an announcement as their board chair that we still need to continue to show up to meetings. We only had 6 of the 12 voting members there. It's hard to make financial decisions and to move this to closure. Some of the big highlights though. Mitchell County did keep the retained CSS and personal files, so Mitchell County will keep those for 5 to 7 years, as noted in the contract. There was a motion by Butler County to allow 3 to 5 employees to contract employees after June 30th for $75 an hour. There was no second, motion died. So then there was a motion made by Grundy County, second by Mitchell County, to approve 3 to 5 employees to be a contract employees earning $100 per hour, working as needed through December 31st, 2025 to close out CSS. There was some debate though. It finally passed 6-0. These guys will not get any benefits, no cell phones, no vehicles, no nothing, no mileage reimbursement. Another said county that's a non-voting member, $100, you can look at it as a lot of money, but somebody still has to finish the closeout of the checkbooks and pay those claims that were provided in this fiscal year. The board will watch it. My thing is who's gonna pay those people, because there's no CSS money left to pay these people $100 an hour. So at that point, is DHHS gonna honor that and pay them for CSS contract employment? That's gonna be yet to be determined, right? So that was a little discussed. We did table the self-fund insurance options. The balance is like 265,000 yet. I think it's not quite time yet to figure out where that money can go. I'm doing my own research to see what that money can be used for, because it was taken out of people's checks. It was the trust fund like what we have, and some said employees are gone. So we'll see what happens with that balance next month, May 28th. Because who knows what the claims look like, who's gonna pay those claims in July, August, September, if said employees use a medical claim. There's some discussion to give it to the 20 people, and then there is some discussion to give it to the insurance company to pay those claims between the out-of-pocket and the Walmart out-of-pocket. So it's one of those things, it's a very unknown of medical bills, you guys all know that. So we'll make that decision, I guess, in May to see what the balance goes to pay health insurance claims for those said 20 employees. Otherwise, it's selling vehicles. We did elect to sell the 8 vehicles back to Brown Chevrolet out of Elkader for their set price that they would buy. They were the highest of the 3 bidders. We went to Mike Mosted, Browns, and I think the other one was Rydell. Yes, Mike Mosted, Rydell, and Browns. Browns had the highest at 162,500. So the CSS board decided to sell all 8 of them back to Browns for 162,500.
Let me go back to CSS.
It'll go back to the state of Iowa most likely. Otherwise, the equipment like owls and computers, we directed Mary to permission to dispose of various CSS equipment to counties, nonprofit agencies. We're not selling them. Mary can give them back to CSS. 2 counties or nonprofits. They're all older style stuff. And then the last motion here is HHS has not yet accepted CSS's closeout plan that was submitted by CSS. CSS is still receiving questions via email from HHS staff about this. There was no action taken on this agenda due to the closeout plan not yet being accepted. And all I can state is the biggest concern is how much money are going to get back to us on June 30th? And we actually put 0, not I, but the team did. And the state's wondering why there's no money going to be left at the end of the year, or at the end of the fiscal year. So they're going to regroup and try to put some kind of guesstimate of how much money is going to be left. All I can do share with this board, because it is a public number, as of, we're not in a financial issue. I'll state that. I'll give you the exact number once I find it here. Ending cash balance of March 31st, 2025 in their checkbook is $5.6 million roughly in the checkbook. So who knows what that number is going to be on June 30th and after to pay claims for providers, but the current cash balance is $5.6 million. I think DHHS just wants to know from all 14 regions of how much money is going to be left to give back to the state of Iowa. It's an unknown, and I think that's why CSS says we don't know either. So, but there will be something.
That's a lot of money. I would hope so.
It is a lot of money, and we are accounting for all the things that we do. We will not waste it. So that was the last motion because they haven't accepted our plan. We'll see how and what are they going to do to them. That's the problem. You know, the chair of CSS will hold that audit, but and the board that shows up, you know, but it's new territory. We all know that. So
How many people do you need to make,
we need
motion?
6.
And how many been showing up 6?
6. I mean, I don't know what else we're going to do if we can't make quorum to finish this out. Because the state law says you can only have 6 supervisors and 6 non-elected officials. I mean, our sheriff that's on it is Mark Sheriff Dan Marks out of Flintshire, and he was a no-show last week. But supervisors ain't even showing up to their own CSS agenda committee assignment, so it's tough. It's tough to run. You guys know it. I think the appetite is gone when the state's taken over July 1st. So, any other committee assignment? Otherwise, discuss future agenda items. I do have Roman on for next week for his employment review and employment contract. Me and Sheila are going to work on the RFP for the auditors next week. And then we'll discuss HR and IT also contracts. I did send an email out just for an FYI to Travis Wires for the TIF financial agent. He is going to meet with us in May sometime. We're going back with some dates, and he's trying to fill his calendar up so he's in the area either the 5th or the 12th. I did go out, I know we can do this if we have to, go to another date, but I would, hopefully we can get the 5th or 12th locked in. To only have to meet one time. Otherwise, is there anything else for future agenda items that I'm missing or Sheila needs to know about?
Are we gonna put 311 Main Street back on?
Oh, we will, yeah.
Matt was gonna do a little more research on that, correct?
Matter, county attorney will. Otherwise, is there a motion to adjourn?
Oh,
Is there a second?
Second.
Steve? All right. Motion by Travis, second by Steve to adjourn at 10:15. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried.
So